This is Straight Talk with Nominee Greg Fann, the Preacher Man, and his sidekick Shanan Jones. Frank discussions of issues affecting the ATL, Fulton County, the state of Georgia, the nation, and around the world. And now, here they are, live and in living color, the team of Jones and Fann, the Preacher Man.
Well, welcome today to Straight Talk with yours truly, Greg Fann, the Preacher Man. And of course, my co-host Shanan is not with me again today. I tell you. But he'll be with me sooner or later. But today we have a great program. We have a great program and design with you today in mind as always. We got a lot going on. A lot is going on. A lot is going on. I tell you, these Senate committee hearings to confirm Mr. Kennedy as the health department for the country, man who doesn't believe in vaccine. We have Mr. Patel as the alleged appointee to the FBI, and that's what we're going to be talking about, Mr. Patel and his Senate hearing. Because many of you all have probably been listening to the various Senate hearings. But those two in particular, we're going to be talking about Mr. Patel today. There are others that Donald Trump is trying to get confirmed to be the director or the head of these departments. And then we're going to talk about the Project 2025 and how it's really, really in motion, and how Mr. Trump said he didn't know anything about it. He wasn't dealing with that, but then he hires the person who's going to be over that particular division to deal with moving and controlling the deep state, which they said they were going to get rid of the deep state employees. And they're doing it, brothers and sisters. They're doing it, Project 2025. We tried to tell you, we tried to warn you, it was going to happen because Mr. Trump is a liar and he's hiring more liars. But we'll be back after Miss C with more information about that. But right now, we want you to like us, subscribe to our channel. Hey, listen, share and make comments. Don't forget, if you want to be on the program, we'd love to have you in the program. Just send something to Miss C. You have news and information, she'll get it on. And if you want to be on the program with Shanan and myself, you can just go out to Straight Talk News 1362 at gmail.com. Love to have you as a guest. We'll be back on the other side with none other than Miss C. Miss C.
Hi, Miss C here with your 3-minute news blast or more. Hey, Bishop Greg. Hey, Pastor Shanan. Hope y'all are doing well. Listen, I got a few tidbits I want to tell you about. Liberty International Church at 1362 Metropolitan Parkway in Southwest Atlanta wants you to join them for their Family and Friends Day, Sunday, February 16th from 10 to 11 a.m. The guest speaker will be Minister Angel Brown. Our own Bishop Greg Fann, the Preacher Man, is overseer. On Friday, March 28th at the King Chapel on the Morehouse campus, Flipper Temple AME Church will present a night of worship featuring Kiera Sheard Kelly in a concert along with David Walker and High Praise and others. To get ticket information, log on to the church's website. That's flippertempleame.com. It's going to be a wonderful, wonderful night of worship. Join the pilgrimage to Selma, Alabama, commemorating the 60th anniversary of Bloody Sunday, leaving Sunday, March 9th at 6 a.m. and returning at 9:30 p.m. The bus trip will include lunch and a trip to the museum. To get more details, contact China Referris at 678-334-0058. And listen, before we leave, there are 4 things I'd like for you to do for me. I'd like for you to like us, subscribe to us, leave comments, and the most important, share us. Don't keep Straight Talk News to yourself. Let everybody know what you know. Straight Talk News, okay? And listen, if you'd like for us to announce your event, please email it to us at Straight Talk News 1362 at gmail.com. That's Straight Talk News 1362 at gmail.com. I stopped for a minute because I had a message to come across the screen. But anyway, I hope you still can see me. Anyway, we'll see you next time. And in the meantime and in between time, may the Lord God bless you real good. Bye now.
Thank you, Miss C, for your news and information that you always put on. Don't forget, join us at Liberty International Church for our Family and Friends Day. We'd love to have you. Our speaker will be Angela Brown. Minister Angela Brown will be speaking and will be serving food after. Love to have you come by and fellowship with the Liberty International Church Door of Hope Ministry Church family at 1362 Metropolitan Parkway in the lovely city of Atlanta, Georgia. Also, don't forget about the trip going to Selma, Alabama. I know a lot of things are happening and people are trying to stop us from voting and everything, but our history, we must tell. Even though they're trying to cut our history out, they're trying to attack every facet of our norms and the things that we've been used to. But we, as a people, must continue to fight. We must stand up and fight. We can't lay down and take it, because we have to stand up and our voices have to be heard, and we have to do it and making sure that people understand we're not going to take all this foolishness or these things that this president and these people are trying to do to the American people. And all the lies that he told about he wasn't going to do this, he wasn't going to do that, and everything he said he wasn't going to do, he's doing. And the price of eggs now, what? Lord, the price dozen of eggs are what? $7, $6, $8 a dozen? Boy, whoever heard of such. Put it on the bird flu if you want to, but we know what the real deal is. The price is going up on everything because we don't want to tax the rich. We want to put the burden on the poor. Well, we're going to stop here now, and we're going to hear an interview that Brian Cohen did with Mrs. Amy Colbert, Mrs. Amy. Amy, I can't pronounce her last name, but she was the past senator who chaired the Judiciary committee that Mr. Patel is trying to become the director of the FBI. If you don't know how important the FBI is to us in this country and how they can, and we should know from Hoover days and what Hoover did, and putting someone in the office now who's going to do the bidding of Donald Trump, even though he said he's not going to do it, but we know what's happening because we know that the January 6 people who were convicted criminals who did the very act, Donald Trump pardoned them for the criminal acts that they did. A criminal pardon other criminals. That's who he is, and that's what he did. So we see what's going on. Look like our justice system is just falling apart because look like the wicked is flourishing, and those people who are trying to do what's right and live by the letters of the law look like they're being punished. But we're going to bring her up, her and Brian, with his interview with her, and I'll be back on the other side to talk more about what's really going on. God bless you, and you stay tuned and don't you go nowhere. I'll be back on the other side.
He is not up for the job, and that is why Bill Barr, the former Republican Attorney General, appointed by Donald Trump, respected by my colleagues on the Republican side, many comments they made when he left. He once said that Kash Patel would be promoted to FBI at the time deputy director over his dead body. That is Bill Barr's words, not mine.
Senator, you're one of the most bipartisan members of Congress. You are known for keeping your head down and doing the work and getting shit done, even in a body, in a broader body of Congress where there are a lot of folks who are looking to, get their TV hits. Like you are sitting there and doing the work. How do you view the prospect of working with your Republican colleagues in this Congress, where it seems like there's so little deference paid to anything other than just fealty to Trump, that all rules are out the window, of course all norms and institutions are out the window, and really everything is just being done no focus on any of the things they campaigned about, bringing prices down, all that stuff, lowering the cost of rent, of housing, and really it's just full bore into Trumpism, into pardoning January 6th insurrectionists, confirming an FBI director who has an enemies list, including on which you have Democratic colleagues in the House and the Senate, and also former executive branch officials like Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Like, how do you view the prospect of compartmentalizing and working with these people in an environment like this?
It is on us right now. We took this oath, right, to protect and defend the Constitution. I just took it a month ago. When we got sworn in as senators, and we've got to be serious about that. Our job under the Constitution is advise and consent. So I look at it this way. Will we find common ground when we can? Yes. The American people, they were very clear. They want us to focus on cost in that election, right? They wanted change. They wanted change, but they didn't want chaos and they didn't want corruption. That is very clear, poll after poll. So if there's a way to work with Republicans, particularly in the Congress, on bringing down housing costs, building more housing, on child care, on health care, and doing something about people's claims being denied and prescription drugs, I am all in, and Democrats are all in. But once they start hurting regular people by giving tax cuts for billionaires at their expense, or installing their buddies and making sweetheart deals, or letting Elon Musk just make decisions when he's not elected and he's clearly plays a role in this and there is no kind of constraint on him, that becomes a problem. Everyone has advisors from the outside come in and help them in government. That's a good thing. But this had better go through the constitutional process, because we trump the executive branch in many ways in the Constitution. Whether he likes it or not, Article 1 is the Congress. And that gives us the power of the purse. So when they suddenly, an unknown bureaucrat that they didn't even bring in there, but is just following orders, sends out a memo, 2 pages long, that says we're freezing funds, all loans and grants, too bad. You know what that means? That means teenagers in cancer studies suddenly don't know what's happening. Moms can't bring their kids to childcare. Firefighters don't know if they're going to get that equipment grant. Domestic violence shelters don't know if they're going to be able to bring in new clients or people that need help.
Right.
That's what happened. And then we made, I will give you this example of standing our ground. The Democrats in the House and Senate, we just raised holy hell. We did. We went and we called people and we went to the floor and we went on our not just national TV and not just podcasts, of course, our favorite, but we also went local with it. And so did regular people. And literally the next day they issued a memo saying, oops, we didn't mean that, we're rescinding it. But then their press secretary says, oh, guess what? We really are freezing funds. So it's total chaos. But my point, we are all in this, and our job is to find common ground when we can, and then stand our ground when we must.
And to the second part of that, the latter part of that, this idea of standing your ground, is there any assurance that you have for folks watching? Because thus far there is a sense of kind of I don't want to say like cynicism that there is a general sense of exhaustion, that we don't have really the fight that's necessary right now. And I know it's from the outside. Look, there's no women's march happening with hundreds of thousands of people taking to the streets, but at the same time there also is some doubt as to whether the folks who are in the minority right now. And so I understand, practically speaking, there's not much that can be done, but just some assurance that you can give that you are the first and in large part the last line of defense against the worst excesses of this administration.
We are, and you saw that, and some battles that we have already won, despite the fact that, there is we literally have to get 4 Republicans on these nominations. Matt Gaetz had to withdraw his nomination. That happened.
Yeah.
There's a number of these hearings, especially the Kennedy hearing, where you saw a lot of pushback. We'll see what our Republican colleagues do because of their belief. Some of them actually believe in vaccines and believe in science. Tulsi Gabbard hearing, again, a lot of questions raised there. So you see this pushback. The abortion amendment they tried to get on. They tried to get in a provision that would have criminalized doctors and hurt families that were at the very most heartbreaking tales, where they're losing their babies at the end of a pregnancy because of a physical issue with the child. These cases, we took that on and we won. We stood together and we won. Those are just the first of many. They rescinded that order. I think you're going to see this come time and time again. And it is not an easy time for anyone, but I think for your viewers and listeners, they need to know, like, we are big time in this. And we've got these incredible new members who have come into the Senate, and that's a big deal. We've got Adam Schiff in the Senate right now. You should have seen him with Kash Patel. Maybe some of you did. We've got Andy Kim out of New Jersey, Alyssa Slotkin out of Michigan, Lisa Blunt Rochester. We've got Angela Alsobrook out of Maryland. It's really kind of an incredible new energy that's going through this place. And I know that it's going to take time for people to see that, but I want them to know that we are fighting every single day. And what we look at is those midterm elections where we're so close in the House of Representatives, right? Right now, it's like 2 votes away.
Right.
And so that creates a lot of opportunities to try to stop real bad things. But it also makes it so that we could actually take the House. And, you know, it's a harder toll, but with Senator Gillibrand leading the Senate Campaign Committee with the work that we can do in the Senate, we also have a chance of winning in the Senate. So that is what we are looking at in these next 2 years as we go forward. And we want people to be with us, but we have to pick our battles. And one of them is clearly when they're throwing people under the bus to give tax cuts for billionaires. One of them is clearly when they are engaging in corruption and firing inspector generals in the middle of the night that watch over tax. He is not up for the job, and that is why Bill Barr, the
Thank you so much.
appointed by Donald Trump,
thank you so very much for what you have done.
Many comments they made when he left.
Thank you, and thank the those who will continue to fight for us down at the Capitol. You know, we are faced with all kinds of challenges, very difficult challenges. That we're faced in at this time, and people are looking, and they're looking for leadership. They're looking for someone to step up to the plate and fight back the foes of the enemies and these public policies that we see that's taking place. That the stuff that's being distributed is Klobuchar. That's her name, Amy Klobuchar. And so, Senator Klobuchar, thank you so much for what you have done and what you will continue to do in others. But they can do what they do, but we need to do what we need to do too. Because the American people have allowed themselves to be deceived by a liar who has lied to say that he was not going to do this and not going to do that. But many things he didn't lie about. He said he was going to deport people. He said he was going to do those kinds of things. He said that. But he lied and said that he didn't know anything about Project 2025. He didn't want to learn about Project 25. But everything that he is doing is in line with Project 2025. When you're laying off all these people, you're threatening people's jobs, you're threatening people's livelihood, the things that people are accustomed to in terms of being able to provide for their families, a roof over their head, to maybe be able to educate their children, and those things, healthcare and all those things. When you and get rid of thousands of people that have been employed, that's been protected under the Civil Service Act for no reason. You just say you want to get rid of them, you want them gone, because the plan for Project 2025 was people who were part of the existing government in those various offices, not just the directors, but the actual staff people who are doing the job. When you got them firing prosecutors who prosecuted case against January 6 people because they were doing their job. We actually saw these people committing crimes. So they prosecuted people for committing crime. That's our system. If you commit a crime, that's what you do. You get prosecuted and you do the time. So they were doing their job. Jack Smith was doing his job. The people that worked in Merrick Garland's office were doing their job. They were doing their job because we actually saw them doing these things and committing these crimes against the police officers. We saw them. We saw them beating them. We saw them just doing things throughout the Capitol, tearing up stuff and everything in the Capitol. We saw that. We saw all of those things with our eyes. The question is, do we believe our eyes or do we believe the lies? You know, we got people saying, well, I didn't say that. You got Kennedy said, I didn't say that. Our own senator from Georgia, Raphael Warnock, he read out something that he said about Nazis, about Hitler. And he said, oh, I didn't say that. You're taking that out of context, but you said that. Yes, you said that. Patel himself, who said that he would turn the FBI building into a museum, he said that, but he said, no, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. He's taken it out of context, but you said that. You said that. Everything that you said, now you're recanting and say, no, I won't do that. No, I won't do it. Can we believe that if you get appointed that you won't do what you didn't say, what you said you wouldn't do? Your leader said that he wasn't going to do what he said he's doing. He's doing it. He said he was going to lower grocery prices. He was going to look at insurance. He was going to take care of people. He was going to do all these things. And he has done everything opposite of what he said he's going to do, because you're creating on chaos and confusion with families' lives that people don't know if they're going to have a job, whether they're going to be able to retire with decent pension. They don't know anything. They're in an influx now. They don't know. People work for the federal government. They don't know. It's just not the people working in D.C. It's people work for the federal government all over the United States of America. And then when you're talking about cutting out grants and that's going to benefit programs to help people, that you're stopping all grants, and then you come back and say, oh, because you guys raised some sand about it, we're not going to do that. We're going to do that. But then you got your public person who is your PR person, your spokesperson, saying, oh, yes, we are going to do that. Is it we are or we not? What is it? What's really, really going on? Wake up, people. Now, what do we need to do as a people? People talking about boycotting. People talking about, well, we just need to believe God that God's going to do it. God has no hand but our hand. He has no eyes but our eyes. He has no feet but our feet. We are the ones to call out the wickedness and the evil that's taking place in our society today. Our young people are dependent on us. They're dependent on us to stand up for their future, because it's their future we're fighting for. It's our children and our grandchildren, our great-children, grandchildren future. We must stand up. We must stand up, and we must fight. We got to quit with the backroom talking. You know, everybody's sitting around talking about, oh, Donald Trump doing this, oh, Donald Trump. Let me tell you something. Donald Trump is only doing what people that have put this program together for him to do. He's just the mouthpiece. The people who are going to be doing the work are the people who are going to be in these offices, who can effect difficult changes for us and how we live on a day-to-day basis. We're going to be living in a lawless society when you got lawless people running the government, and you got lawless people going to be over certain sections of the law that's going to let some go and some not go. We're living in that kind of society. We got to stand up and we got to speak up. We got to protect our Constitution, the Constitution that we have bought into, that we're going to live by. I promise to uphold the Constitution of the United States of America. When you put your hand on that Bible, both the Constitution of the city that you were sworn in, both the Constitution of the state that you were sworn to hold office in, and both the Constitution of the United States that you were sworn to take. You sworn to uphold. We must protect our Constitution. We must not allow them to do what they're doing. Well, you said, what can we do? We can't do anything. That we only vote in 4 more years. Well, their local elections don't happen this year. Their local elections don't happen this year. We can start on our local level in terms of dealing with our local politicians, making them be vocal and speak to the things in the ear that they want to do on a national level. They are the people we elect to be our voices, to speak for us. We must call people in accountability and hold people accountable, and not let people just say what they can't do. Well, why are you there if you can't do it? If you can't do it, Who hires somebody on a job that can't do the job? All they can do is give excuses. I can't do it. I'm late because I got to do this. I'm late because I got to do that. I can't come to work today because this is happening. I can't come to work tomorrow because I got to take care of this. Who hire those people? No one hires those people. Or if they do, they fire them. If we've hired people like that, they're making excuses, we need to fire them. We need to have people going to stand up and fight for us and not be afraid or intimidated by the powers that be. Because the only true power is the power of God. Fearful of the unknown. But know that God is still yet in control. And I thank you so much. I got Shanan on the phone now. He's calling in. Let me see if I can get you in, Shanan. Hold on for a minute. Shanan, I'm gonna see if I can get you in. I'm already on. I've been waiting on you. So I'm talking about what's going on, Shanan.
My phone. Tell me you've done something with my phone.
Well, that's all right. You on now. So what's going on? What I'm talking about? What's going on? I'm talking about the fear factor. The fear factor and what's going on. Why are people so fearful? Why are they afraid to stand up and speak out about what's wrong? Why are they afraid to speak out about Elon Musk with the Hitler sign? Why are they afraid, Shanan? What's the fear factor?
Well, first and foremost, good evening, Straight Talk audience. I have several different views of why people are afraid, and that is that they have bought into what is this synonymous Trump MAGA movement that has replaced the Republican Party, the Republican National Convention, and in a real sense, Republican values. And folks just really can't read the tea leaves, Bishop. They don't know they don't really understand the implications for standing up. They don't understand the implications for speaking out, and so it's a place where Trump is trafficking in fear, fear mongering, and many are just afraid because they don't know what's going to happen to them if they do take a position. If they take a position, will it be like a domino effect, and others will say, you know what, you're right, and I'm going to stand? Or will you be the lone man or woman out, and will they mount a campaign against you and take you out? But see, it moves beyond just the politics of it. This thing is getting so nasty that you're seeing folks being fired two weeks before. I mean, can you imagine working somewhere 30 to and having someone fire you 2 weeks before your retirement, so that you can't get your pension, or a year or 2 years before you can get your pension? So this thing gets so dirty that folks are going after families now. You have a Justice Department that's going to be in this Trump MAGA hand, and so will it be weaponized? Will it seek the same type of retribution that Trump said that he was going to do in this administration? So, there are those that how far will this go? Is it enough to take my political power from me? Will you go after my economic power? Will you go after my children? Will you put my wife in jail? So folks are just really stunned by all of this, and on the Republican side, and they are really, they're dealing with the trafficking of this Trumpism. And the thing that one must really understand is you have to read and study Roy Cohn, who was the New York fixer that Trump really came to power under, and who really helped him to become the Donald Trump that we know today. Not the son of a Queens developer, but to really become the Manhattan developer that he was, and the man of the world that he's become. You got to study Roy Cohn, and a great movie for everyone to see if you've got a couple of hours is to go and look at this movie that Trump fought for it to come out, called The Apprentice. And it begins to show you that you're not going to be able to easily navigate this system. Once you have empowered it, the only way to do it, the only way to stop it, is to bring down everything that it touches. It's like the worst case of mold. You have to tear the walls out. You cannot just spray something. You got to replace it and destroy it, and you have to be willing to do that.
And I think, Shannon, I appreciate what you said, because I'm pretty much said the same thing before we came up. But the reality of it is for me, is that when we look at what's really going on, it's nothing new. Solomon's saying nothing new up under the sun. Nothing new. But
Right.
but the fear factor, and when you were talking about the fear factor, when they did for black people, how did they create fear in blacks? They would hang black folks, and they would hang them in where? Downtown or in areas where blacks would walk by, and they would see their bodies hanging there. They leave them up, and because if you do this, this gonna happen to you. If you do this, is what happened to your wife. This is what's gonna happen to your son. It's that fear factor of what might happen to me. But see, if it's happening to my brothers, happening to my sister, it's already happened to me. It's just when it's going to happen to me. It's just when. It's just when. Because it's going to happen.
There's no mistaking, and I hope that we get a chance to talk about the fact that Joe Biden pardoned his entire family, but did not pardon the lieutenant of Martin Luther King Jr.'s son, Jesse Lewis Jackson Jr., former Congressman Jackson, Reverend Jesse Jackson, and his son, Jesse Jackson Jr., wrote a letter and really begged both the Obama and the Biden administrations for a pardon, and did not get one. But you saw that Biden, with the stroke of, and let me just say something about that parenthetically, and then maybe we can do a segment on that at another time.
Sure.
But Jesse Jr. was talking about the power of the presidency, and with the stroke of a pen. With the stroke of a pen from Abraham Lincoln, you had the Emancipation Proclamation that freed all of us. Presidents are very powerful. And then with the stroke of the pen, Johnson, his predecessor, Andrew Johnson, forgave all of the slave owning property owners so that they could not be persecuted or prosecuted. And so the power of that. And then with Biden, there's a stroke of the pen. So we see a pardon for Liz Cheney, the daughter of Dick Cheney, but we don't see a pardon for Jesse Jackson Jr. on Martin Luther King Day. So I say that parenthetically. I come back now to what we are arguing right now and say that this president gave a blanket pardon to his family and his extended family. And there was a reason for that. The current president, Trump says, well, they must have been guilty. No, but one thing a president has, that's intelligence. And until 12 o'clock on January the 20th of 2025, Biden was getting intelligence reports, and he knew what was going on in the Justice Department, and he knew what was being forecast, and he knew what was being said. There are wiretaps and all kinds of things in all kinds of places. So he wasn't going by what was reported in the news or what he heard. He knew what Trump was getting ready to do to his family, and so he pardoned them. So when we talk about this fear, it's not just smoke. There's fire there, and that fire will burn not just those who are elected, but it will burn down into every area of one's bloodline. And this is a new politic. This politic that the Trump MAGA movement has brought into the American political system is a cancer that we have not seen before.
Well, I tell you this, we'll talk more about that on another segment of Straight Talk, but I just wanted to make sure that people understood that this is the part of Project 2025 that's being implemented, and there's much more. And we're going to be digesting Project 2025 and what things that Donald Trump is doing and what we need to do as a community, as political leaders, as community leaders, as faith-based leaders, to look into this and see what we can do to slow it down or stop it. Some of the things that he is attempting to do or wanting to do. But we know from The Apprentice, he will say, "You're fired. You're fired." He's only doing what he's been doing. So thank you so much, Shanan, for coming in and joining via telephone. And thank those of you who are watching tonight on Straight Talk that you will share with your family and friends. Don't forget to like us. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share. And don't forget to make comments. Until next week, this ain't been nothing but what? Straight Talk.
Want to be a guest on Straight Talk? Email Greg Fann at FANN922@Comcast.net or call 404-308-0795. Join us again for another episode of Straight Talk with Shanan Jones and Greg Fann, the Preacher Man.